The city lights flickered as Cash, Karoline, and Abigail raced against time. Their mission was clear: expose Richard Hargrave and his sprawling empire of corruption before he could silence them. The weight of their discoveries pressed heavily on their shoulders. Hargrave was more than a ruthless businessman. He controlled the media, the legal system, and the highest offices in politics. His reach was deep, his power absolute, and his willingness to destroy anyone who threatened his reign was undeniable. They had uncovered too much. Running was no longer an option. The trio moved quickly through the dimly lit alleyway, slipping out the back of their safe house as the sound of tires screeched outside. They had expected retaliation, but not this fast. Abigail checked the rearview mirror as they sped off, watching a black SUV tail them. Hargrave had found them. Karoline gripped the wheel tighter, weaving through the crowded city streets, her heart pounding. "He's tracking every move," Abigail said, her voice tense. "We've exposed the truth, and he won't let us get away." Cash clenched his jaw. "Then we make sure the world sees it before he buries it." The car sped through New York streets, neon lights flashing past in a blur. Abigail worked furiously on her laptop, encrypting their files and preparing their next move. "Hargrave isn't working alone," she muttered, scanning through the names tied to him. "We thought we were taking on one man, but it's an entire system protecting him. CEOs, politicians, media moguls, they all have a stake in keeping him safe." Karoline nodded, keeping her eyes on the road. "Then we need help," she said. "Someone outside the system, someone Hargrave hasn't bought." Abigail's fingers danced over the keyboard. "There's a hacker I've heard about, Dante. If anyone can help us break through, it's him." Cash hesitated. "How do we know he's not working for Hargrave?" Abigail smirked. "We don't. But we have no choice." She sent out a cryptic message, hoping Dante would respond. Moments later, the laptop screen flashed with a reply. "I've been waiting for you," it read. A set of coordinates followed. Karoline exhaled sharply. "It's a trap." Cash glanced at Abigail, who met his gaze with determination. "Then we walk in prepared." 2 hours later, they arrived at an abandoned building on the city's outskirts. The air was thick with tension as they stepped inside. A single light illuminated a figure hunched over a laptop. Dante. He was younger than expected, his sharp eyes flickering in the glow of the screen. "You want to take down Hargrave," he said, his voice even. "But are you ready for what that really means?" With a click of a button, his screen lit up with a sprawling web of names, dates, and companies, all linked to Hargrave. "His empire isn't just built on money," Dante continued. "It's built on control. If you expose him, you expose the entire system that keeps him in power." Abigail's breath hitched. "So how do we break it?" Dante smirked. "We go straight to the people. Not the media, he owns them. Not the law, he controls it. We find an independent journalist, someone with credibility, someone who can't be silenced." Cash nodded. "Then we need to move fast." Dante tapped a few keys and pulled up a name. "I've got your person," he said. "But once this goes public, you're not just fighting Hargrave, you're fighting everyone who benefits from him." The morning air was crisp as the trio met on a rooftop, watching the city below. Abigail's phone buzzed. "It's happening," she said. The first article had gone live. The headline was explosive: "Empire of Corruption. How one man manipulated governments, corporations, and the media." Within hours, the world was in an uproar. Protests erupted, news outlets scrambled, and Hargrave's allies started to abandon him. The truth was out. But the fight wasn't over. Hargrave struck back immediately. Blackmail, legal threats, even violence. He unleashed every weapon in his arsenal. But the momentum was unstoppable. His empire began to crumble as more evidence surfaced. Politicians resigned, CEOs were arrested, and companies severed ties. Yet Hargrave himself remained elusive, hiding in the shadows, waiting for his moment to strike back. As the world watched the fallout, the trio knew their job wasn't finished. "We took down his network," Cash said, "but Hargrave is still out there." Karoline's jaw tightened. "Then we keep going." Abigail looked at her phone, the final article scheduled for release. "Once this drops, there's no turning back." She hit send. The story of Karoline, Cash, and Abigail was more than a fight against one man. It was a battle against an entire system built on power, corruption, and manipulation. Their struggle reflected the real-world challenges of exposing the truth in an era where misinformation and control are everywhere. Their story was fiction, but the reality it mirrored was undeniable. Power thrives in secrecy, and only those brave enough to challenge it can hope to make a difference.